All right, let's talk about something here real quick. Something a little bit different. This is going to be kind of an off-the-cuff, one-way conversation, although the comments do exist, so perhaps it is, in fact, a two-way conversation. But I just wanted to take a moment and just say a few things, get a few things off my chest, kind of tell you where my brain is at in terms of what I'm providing here on YouTube. Who should be listening to what I'm saying on YouTube, how I should be taken, just sort of how I see myself fitting into your lives potentially. So I grew up a pretty big gamer. I would say that I got really into gaming about the time PS2, GameCube. Like, that's when I really started to love gaming. Obviously, I played stuff prior. I played on the NES and the SNES, but I didn't really like get pulled in by it until a bit later, until that PS2, GameCube, and then PS3, Wii, you know, then it was off to the races. And during that time, once I really got into the PS3, that's when I was like, man, the evolution was complete. I was a full-fledged gamer. That's when I started becoming really an enthusiast. And I started reading reviews online and watching video reviews and reading editorials. And then I started noticing something. I started noticing that some people would review a game and they would say it was great. And then I would try it and I would hate it. It would not be something that I enjoyed. And I discovered something in those moments. I discovered what subjectivity was. I discovered that that's just someone's opinion. That game is not an 8.2 out of 10, objectively, right? That's just their opinion. And that person liking a game that I thought wasn't very good doesn't mean that they're in the pocket of Activision or whoever it might have been, that they're corrupted, that they're lying to you, or vice versa. That person reviewing a game rather poorly that I thought was really enjoyable also doesn't in any way mean this person is dishonest. It just means that we're different people and they're just simply putting forth their opinion, the way they felt about the game. And this is something that is so very true in every form of review and editorialization, but it's very true in the world of tech. There are phones, tablets, devices that I'm going to like that you're going to dislike, and vice versa. But none of that implies in the slightest that I'm being dishonest or you're being dishonest. It simply implies we have different opinions. So then I learned something really important from that. I didn't have a lot of money. Didn't grow up in a wealthy family, right? So the money I had to buy video games with was very, very limited. So a swing and a miss was extra painful. So I figured out pretty quickly that I needed to find someone whose reviews lined up with what I thought. So that if this person who agreed with me on their last 5 games, the last 5 games they reviewed, they said were, you know, good, bad, whatever. I agreed every step of the way. When they reviewed that new game, I would be able to take that review, take it to heart and say, well, that person says it's pretty good. And I tend to agree with what they think. Therefore, I'm probably going to enjoy this game as well. And I have continued to see the world of reviews and tech and opinions through that same lens. I am not the arbiter of truth here. I'm simply telling you my perception of things. I'm giving you my opinions. And if it so happens that the things I say you agree with more often than not, then I am providing some sort of value in a review of a product that you've not yet used. Because you can say what he thought about these last 3 things he's reviewed, I agreed with. So this 4th thing, I probably will agree with too. By doing that, that's the value that I'm giving you in terms of a review. I'm giving you my perspective, and you have to determine if that perspective is useful or not to you. You could look at everything I've said about Surface Duo and say, I tried Duo and I hated it. Therefore, I don't think what he thinks about phones really is all that useful to me because I just don't see the world the same way as him. And that's totally fine. But I want you guys to really understand here and really feel comfortable on my channel that if I say something with almost all certainty, it's my opinion. Now, it may be an opinion that I haven't fully formed, right? It may be something that I'm reacting to, right? And if that's the case, I may come back and I may amend that opinion on a later video. I may change my mind. There's things I've changed my mind about multiple times on this channel, and I will constantly withhold the right to do that. Because as more information comes in, I'm going to change my mind if it turns out that I feel like I was wrong about something in the past. I also want you guys to understand that I have kind of a dry sense of humor. I'm kind of a sarcastic person, and sometimes I say things that I understand as humor, and that other people hear me say these things and get very mad because they don't take them as humor. And that's something that I'm trying to find the balance between staying true to myself and my sense of humor and what I think people might like about me, but also not be inflammatory accidentally, because I've been accidentally inflammatory in the past by making some silly off-the-cuff comment. Someone takes me seriously and gets upset with me, and then when I watch it back, I go, oh, I guess I can see how I would have been taken that way. That's my fault. The last piece of this puzzle is with so-called sponsored content. You may have noticed over the last little bit that I've been doing more and more hardware reviews. And I am very keen to mention in these reviews if the hardware was given to me by the company that makes said hardware, so that you guys know how that happened, okay? If I say thanks to such and such for sending this out to me, that means I didn't buy it. They sent it to me. Now, there are some things here that are involving that process that I want to clear up. I have never and will never take money for a review. I do not give early copy on my content. The company that sends me the hardware, they get to see the video, the review, whatever it might be, the same time you guys do. And literally, as of this week, I've pissed off 2 companies for refusing to give them copy. Granted, they'd already sent me the hardware before asking for early copy. At that point, it's too late. I've already got the thing and it's filmed and it's going up. So sorry, it is what it is. You don't get early copy. And if you're going to ask for that and you sending me the hardware is contingent upon getting that early copy, I'm not going to have you send it to me. And there's a reason for that, because I don't want to do anything that even in the slightest, smallest way could corrupt my opinion, because things can happen subconsciously, right? If I film a review and it's my honest opinion and the company says, hey, we want to see it before you publish it. Even if they're like, we just want to see it first to determine if we're going to advertise it or whatever. If I have that in the back of my head, suddenly the audience isn't you, it's the company I'm sending it to. And I'm concerned that subconsciously that could get into my head. So I will not allow myself to take an inch of a step in that direction. So no early copy. I'm going to be really honest with you guys. This is my job. This is the primary way I bring money into my household. And the vast majority of this is through YouTube ad revenue. Okay, that's the majority of how I'm bringing in money. And it's not a ton of money. So when companies offer me money to spotlight, to feature a product, I want that money. But I just don't feel good about taking it. I don't know that I can be truly honest while taking their money. That's just how I feel. I'm not telling anyone else how to do your business, how to run your channel. This is just where I'm coming from. Now, you guys know that I have YouTube memberships, because if I'm being honest here, I need to continue making more money from this channel as time goes on, okay? This is not a place where I'm like, I'm done here. The growth is no more than I need. I'm good where I'm at. No, that's not the case. This is going to have to keep growing for me to continue doing this in perpetuity, for this to truly become my permanent job. And those YouTube memberships do, in a tiny way, help bridge that gap. And I'm exploring other ways to potentially let you guys contribute, because I would much rather take money from you guys than from companies, because then I'm still honest. I can take money from my audience to produce content, and that doesn't affect my ability to not be compromised by where that money is coming from. So I've dabbled with the idea of a Patreon as well. I would love to know your guys' thoughts on that. Perhaps I'll do a poll or something to gauge interest in something like a Patreon, or what sort of content you would like to see on a Patreon. I don't want to have any content behind a paywall also, though, so that's a problem. So I could make member-only content, patron-only content, but I don't want to make content that you have to pay to see because that feels wrong to me as well. So this is all stuff that I'm going to need to iron out with your guys' help in the future. But the prior few minutes, hopefully that answers some questions for you guys and kind of lets you know where my head's at in terms of what I'm producing, how it's meant to be taken, whether or not you should listen to me if you think I'm being honest or not, all of these sorts of things. Guys, thanks for making it to the end of this video. If you did, I would guess you're probably already subscribed, but if you're not, maybe hit that subscribe button anyways. I'll see you on the next one. Back to regularly scheduled content early next week, and until next time, stay nerdy, my friends.